Nothing wants to stay up. Everything's falling over. My light fixture is flickering in and out. I don't even know if my mic's working. It looks like it is. I'm having a Bill O'Reilly moment right now. I just want to yell, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Hopefully most of you caught that reference. If you haven't seen that video, look it up. It's well worth it. Either way, welcome back to the channel, guys. Appreciate you guys clicking on the video here today. Captain Cody Davis here with you guys again for another one. And it's been a little bit since I've uploaded one of these videos. Hasn't been as long since I've recorded one. I just haven't got them uploaded. I actually recorded a video similar to this one somewhat recently. I forget what day it would have been. But I ended up heading up to the Georgia woods to my in-laws' farm for the week of Thanksgiving to spend time with family and just hang out and relax. And while I was up there, I tried to upload a fishing report video, and it just wouldn't do it up there. So then by the time I got home, that news was old news, and I just scrapped the whole video, and I figured I'd just pick it up again later on down the road, and now we're later on down the road. So we've got some stuff to talk about. Long story short, it just give you guys some cliff notes of where we left off. I think the last fishing report I gave, I was in the midst of practicing for the Big O Shootout presented by Lake and Trail on the north end of the lake. It was our championship event. We were going to be fishing for a 18-foot aluminum Vexus boat. The event was supposed to take place weeks prior. It was supposed to be a 2-day event. They ended up having to cancel or postpone the event due to small craft advisory all weekend. They ended up moving it to 3 Sundays ago, whatever that was, and making it a 1-day event. Me and my buddy Chris Sherling were fishing it. We ended up with 18 pounds. I think we got like 10th place. Decent week of fishing, not so decent, very random. Any of you that follow me on social media saw I caught this 9.31 pounder in practice. At that thing. Okay, so as cool as that was, it was true Okeechobee form. That was the only bite I had in 4.5 hours of fishing. Gotta love it. Never got a bite there during the event. Never got a bite there ever again since in that area. Chris found us some fish. We went to them. Chris caught a big one right off the bat. We had a good limit. We thought this was going to be a great day. We never upgraded. So we only had about 18 pounds. My good buddy Matt Weeda and my other good buddy Nick Hoyning ended up winning the boat. They ended up winning the event with just over 25 pounds. Those guys are on a tear, which we'll get into here in the video. So that's where I kind of left you guys off. I ended up leaving, going to Georgia, came back, had some trips this week, and now we're going to be talking about really just what's going on out on the lake and also recap the Roland Martin 2-day championship that just took place. We literally just wrapped this up yesterday. Really cool event. It was really encouraging to see, just for a bunch of different reasons, and a very different event, a very kind of like out of the ordinary event, I guess you can say. I'm trying to adjust my camera here. So day one of we'll kind of back up. I had a trip earlier in the week, and it was my first trip back since for leaving for 8 days or whatever it was. And as soon as I got out on the lake, I knew this was probably going to be a big weight event that weekend. I didn't run around all that much, but I kind of did move around and checked a few different areas. And maybe we didn't get bit in all of them, but all of them looked right. Everything was clean. And I said, man, like this is going to open the lake up. Also looking at the conditions we were going to be faced with, I said they're going to catch them this weekend. Unfortunately for me, I just had a really busy week. I had a bunch of stuff going on here with the kids' schools and a festival we had to help and all this stuff going on. So I knew I was only going to have 1 day to practice. So I really watched the weather, and I told Kelly Thursday we're going to go out, and we did. We focused our efforts, our whole practice in this one area where we thought we could do very well for 2 days. And again, true Okeechobee fashion, we shook off more. We had more big bites in practice in 1 day than I've probably had in the last 6 months. And that's being honest. I mean, they were just big ones, lots of them. And we never caught a bass. We shook off everything, and it's no secret we were getting bit on a frog. So we are all excited. It's a perfect when they're eating it in practice. It's awesome because you get a really good look and an idea of what you're actually getting bit by. When we're trying to shake them off, when we're flipping, it's funny. The ones that feel big usually aren't, and the ones that feel like dinks are the big ones. So you just never really know. But when they come up and eat that frog, you get a really good idea of what's around, and there was a lot of big ones around. Didn't practice Friday, got our stuff together, and really weird thing I haven't had happen in forever. First day of the event, we actually had a fog delay and a major one. We were supposed to start calling boat numbers at 6:30, and they did not call the first boat number until 10 o'clock in the morning, which was the right thing to do. It was by far, not safe to run out there whatsoever. Some of the craziest fog I've seen in quite a while. And it was, the Rolla Martin Marine Series staff, they did a great job holding us back. I mean, it's what you got to do. So that really cut into our fishing time. First flight was due back at 3. We were the last flight that day. I think we were doing at 3:45. So, it really cut into our day. But we really only had one area anyway, but we knew we were missing, that early morning bite, which we thought would be crucial. And for us, it was. Also, we had a wind change. The wind switched directions during the day. And although it didn't blow really hard, I tell you guys all the time, the smallest change in weather, water clarity, water temperature, if it's cloudy, if it's sunny, it's crazy how sensitive our bass are on Lake Okeechobee. As big and mean as they are very sensitive. So that weather change and that wind direction change on us, it's the only thing I can attribute to made it very difficult. Me and Kelly only came in with 10 pounds, never had a big bite, and had to really switch up our entire approach on how we caught them. I think every fish we weighed in on Saturday, 10 pounds worth, was on a Gambler Fat Ace, fishing extremely slow, pitching it around on fluorocarbon, never had a bite on the frog. Couple other boats that were in our area. My buddy Chris Sherling, kind of went to the fish that he found for us in that lake and trail for the most part. And he ended up with, him and his partner had 22 and a half pounds. And he was not far from us, so it was just kind of a shot in the dark that we didn't get a big bite. Alex and Sam from Sanko Sticks, they were around us in the morning. They had 16 pounds, but Alex caught a random 7-pounder, which helped them tremendously. So leading the tournament that day, Chunky, most of you that fish this lake know who Chunky is, and his partner Roger ended up having 30 pounds going into day 2 of the tournament, or leading with day 1 of the tournament. They had 30 pounds. Then I believe the next bag down was 23. Can't remember. But essentially, Chunky and Roger had a substantial lead. So yeah, I think it was like a 7-pound lead going into day 2. But what it really came down to was the weights were actually lower than I thought. I think 16 pounds was 13th place or something. I forget why that number sticks with me, but fairly low. And a lot of that I think had to do with, so much of our fishing time being cut in half. But there were a lot of low weights. I think me and Kelly with 10 pounds even, we were tied for 67th place with like 3 other people. But we knew things were going to flip-flop. They always do. It's Lake Okeechobee. We're going to have slightly different weather the next day. And we knew things were going to happen. We were very confident about the area we were in. Well, we knew we had those big bites. We knew they couldn't have gone far. We were going to have a full day to fish the next day. And we went out, and just to save you guys a long-winded answer, we had 12 pounds. We probably legitimately had 45 bites on Sunday. And between Saturday and Sunday, bites, 50, I don't know how many bites we had. And never can say we had a bite over 3 pounds, which I didn't even know that was possible on Lake Okeechobee. But we moved around slightly. We didn't want to move around too much. We were constantly getting bit. All the right signs were there. Our fish were spawning. but all we were catching were males, and every fish we weighed in or caught over those 2 days were on a Gambler Fat Ace. 20-pound fluorocarbon, fishing extremely slow. Definitely not the techniques and the way me and Kelly like to fish, but it was what we had to do. And we thought maybe we'd luck into a couple of big ones. We just never did. Honestly, any of the other boats in our area that they never caught a big bag. So we ended up going in. We didn't even weigh our fish in, but wanted to go to the weigh-in to congratulate whoever won, whoever did well, and just see, what came in. And they straight up caught them. Talked to tons of people, and a lot of people caught a lot of fish. And then there were other people that didn't catch a lot, but they caught big ones. There were guys. This was what was really cool, and I'm friendly with everyone, right? And one of my favorite things to do is just go hang out at a weigh-in and talk fishing. And not because I want people's spots. I don't want to know where anyone was, but just hear like what changed for them. Did they lose big ones? What have you? And it was crazy how there were so many people that were in me and Kelly's boat, like had 10, 12, 13 pounds day one, but the next day had 25 pounds, 26 pounds, 30 pounds, and asking them, like, did you do the exact same thing or did you do something totally different? There were some that did the exact same thing and their fish grew. They just got bigger fish. Some of them attribute it to being there for those first 2 hours in the morning. I talked to Don DeMont and his son Matt. They had 25 pounds on day two, and I think like 11 pounds on day one. And I asked him, did you go to the same area? And Don said, no, we went as far away from there as we could, and we probably caught 50 or 60 fish, and we had 25 pounds. So it went both ways, but lots of big fish brought in on Sunday. I forget exactly how many over 7 pounds were brought in, but a good amount. I know there was several 8-pounders brought in Sunday. Ron Veal ended up getting big bass at the tournament with a 951, and he caught it punching a mat. I don't think he cares that I tell anyone that. He won the tournament. I mean, like me and Kelly were so jealous about that when he was hanging out with us, telling us, like, man, I shook her off in practice and went back there and caught her, and it was a 951 in a mat, and we don't get to do that very often. It was funny because I think the reason Ron told us, he said it was the only mat that I saw in 2 days. So really cool. Like, again, some really big fish, lots of healthy fish. And also, like I said, me and Kelly caught so many fish, and they were all super healthy, just not the right size. So the lake's starting to show out. The lake looks really good. I guess before we move on, talk about the winner. Chunky and Roger ended up winning the event. They backed up their 30-pound bag with a 23-pound bag on day two, so they had 53.66 pounds for a 2-day total. Mike, I'm going to mess up your name, Mike Vedito, and his partner, they had 50.26 for second. I just got some notes written down here. Really weird little fun fact. Third and fourth place, they had, I think, third had an 18-pound bag, which was good on day one, and fourth had a 16-pound bag. But day two, both those teams each weighed in a 30.12-pound bag, 30.12, the exact same 30-pound weight the next day, which is, I just was looking at the weights. That's pretty crazy. And I talked to these, not them, but just so many people that caught a big bag on day two, and a lot of them were like, man, I went to my fish and they just weren't there. So we ended up just the next day putting the trolling motor on and really trying to cover water out from where we had fish, thinking maybe they left, they moved out, and some of these people connected on them and caught them. And a lot of people told me they caught them really quick. It was like 8:30, 9:30. They only had 2 fish in the boat, no size, and then before they knew it, in 20 minutes, they had 28 pounds, 30 pounds. And that can happen on Lake Okeechobee as well. You just never know. There's been really big fish caught. My buddies Matt and Nick, they had, I forget what they had for 2 days, but they ended up in 5th place. Without a doubt, the most consistent team on Lake Okeechobee right now, and one of the most consistent teams that I can remember. They got second in the last Rollins tournament. They won the Big O shootout, the Lake and Trail event, and they just get 5th. And I mean, we're knocking on the door at winning this thing as well. These guys are on a roll, phenomenal fishermen. I have no idea how they fish together because they're polar opposites. I grew up fishing against Matt and with Matt. Matt was my tournament partner when I first started fishing the lake again. And, Nick, a good buddy of mine as well. They both stay here during major events, Toyota Series, what have you. And I said it before in other videos. Nick will back his boat in. His line, his tackle is just destroyed from the day's fishing. And he's just, let's eat dinner. I'll fix it tomorrow during the event. And Matt is out in the boat sharpening treble hooks on a jerkbait he's not going to use until 2:30 in the morning. So how they make it work, I have no idea, but they're damn sure doing it. So congrats to those guys. The lake level, 1365. It's holding right there. We did get some rain last night. A big front came through, so I'm curious to see if that changes. But I was talking to Scott Martin about it in the tournament. We don't really want it to get lower. And that's what we were talking about right now. We need some water in the lake for these fish to spawn, to hold the grass that we've got. But this lake level is just making the fishing better. It's keeping the lake healthier. It's keeping the lake cleaner. And that's what I want to talk about. The entire lake showed out. I know people that caught them north of the Kissimmee River. I know people that caught them, some fish all the way as far south as you can get. There were literally boats spread out across the entire lake, and they were all catching fish, which is what we all want. Literally, you name a spot on the lake, I know someone that was catching some fish there and got bites there. And that's the beauty. That's what we want. That's signs of a healthy lake. You can literally go anywhere in the lake right now that you think looks good, and it will be good. In 2 days of fishing, I'd consider a community hole on Okeechobee, 7 boats I think we saw in 2 days, which for the last several years there's been 35 boats in this area. Talked to other people that fished other, I guess you can call them that were community holes, same thing. I talked to my buddy Cale Stevens. He said they never saw a boat in 2 days. And I talked to a few people like that, and it makes you fish better. It's less pressure on the fish. The fishing's just overall better. So that was really refreshing and cool to see. So the lake is fishing great. Go follow Roland Martin Marine's Facebook. You can see the pictures of all the big fish that were brought in. And it's only going to get better. I really think so. I think the lake's looking really good. We just came off that moon. First big major wave of fish came in. So it's really just going to get better from here. If you guys wanted to book a trip, let me know. That's going to move us right into this next thing. Any of you wives that are sitting there reading your Kindle while your husband plays this video very loud on your TV, yes, I'm talking to you, sitting there talking about going fishing. If you're looking for a last-minute gift idea for him or her, another angler in the family, I do have gift cards available. Let me know. Give me a call. I can mail them to you, email them to you, whatever you guys want to do. If you just want to book a trip for this spring, this late winter, whatever, let me know. We've got lots of availability. I think Lake Okeechobee's been getting a lot of bad press lately, and I don't make comment on it because my opinion is going to sound biased because I make a living on the lake. I like to let the stats, the numbers, the videos, the pictures, the fish themselves do the talking. And I don't know, 53 pounds for a day and a half of fishing in a tournament for a win, it's pretty darn good to me. And, I think, what was it? The top 7 had over 45 pounds. So there's lots of fish being caught. Let me know if you guys want to get a trip booked. We'll get you in there and we get out and try to catch you a big one. Also, I talked about the gift cards. The last thing that you guys can keep a lookout for, probably be doing a video on it soon. Gambler's got a very new bait getting ready to hit the market. Something very different, very clever, great idea. Me and some of the other guys have been talking about little tweaks that you can do to it that, additional to the little tweak or just how different the bait already is. Keep an eye out for it. I didn't even talk to Val about like how much I could say about it. I believe he did a video on it. If maybe it's public, I don't know, but keep an eye out for it. I'll be posting stuff on my channel. He had 20, him and Todd had 26 or 27 pounds yesterday, and his Miami Hurricanes made it to the playoffs. So he was just on cloud nine and didn't want to even bother him with questions. So either way, that's about it. New gambler baits. Lake Okeechobee's on fire. Lake Okeechobee's super healthy and looks good. And your favorite guide on Okeechobee has availability. So book some trips. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to try and get out. I don't know when I'm going to get to film a fishing video again. I didn't make a video from this tournament. I didn't think you guys wanted to see me catch 10 pounds on a Senko. Probably should get better about just uploading these videos anyway, but I didn't. But I guess I could. I haven't deleted the footage yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something with it. I'll think about it. But let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, I greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of you that tune into these videos. Means a lot. I appreciate all the positive feedback, and thank you to everyone who comes up and, you know, talks to me at the boat ramp or out on the water, and most of all, books a trip with me. It's an unreal deal that this many people want to pay me to go fishing with me. It's just a weird deal, but I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't tell you guys that enough. And I love what I do. So until the next one, I'll see you guys on the next one.